This is Once Upon a Non-Time, December 17th. How would you write the Christmas story? After an agonizing afternoon on a straw bed, Mary knew her pain would soon be gone. She held on to the hope that Jesus would soon be born. Then she'd forget the labor. She could almost rejoice already by imagining the little baby in her arms. "You know what they say, dear," Joseph advised, coaching Mary with the only advice he knew. "Breathe. Breathe in, breathe out." Mary was too focused on the pain to respond. All she could think was, I know, breathe," then prayed, "God, can Joseph and I switch places and let him try this?" Pause the story. Imagine if you were in charge of writing the story of the world. Here's your writing prompt. The world is in sin and lost without your help. You've hinted at giving them a king, a deliverer, but you haven't told them how or when he will come and who he will be. Now, how would you send the king? I know what I'd do. I'd create a magical castle bigger than a mountain. I'd swing a magic wand and poof, make money rain from the sky for everyone. I'd make candy carts, ride through the streets, and give free treats away. I'd shape the clouds into words so that everyone could read, "The king lives in this castle." I would form a giant arrow pointing down at the king's land. I would teleport the king to every town's mayor one by one, and then announce from the sky, "This is the king. Please let the people in your town know. They'll follow you." I'd have choirs singing songs at his crowning ceremony. I'd bring everyone together and let them see how great my king was. Well, good thing I'm not God. I would have done it all wrong. I would have set up the king like he was a circus act and turned the people into selfish brats, only serving the king for what they could get out of him. That wouldn't be good. God did things differently. The Bible tells us about Jesus' birth in one little verse. "And she brought forth her firstborn son and wrapped him in swaddling clothes and laid him in a manger." Luke 2:7. That's it. The greatest, grandest, hugest, magnificentest, superest moment in the history of mankind happened, and here's the only response. Moo. Bah. Yee-haw. The king didn't have a castle. He had a cave. Jesus was not surrounded by candy. He was surrounded by manure. Emmanuel did not gather huge crowds of people. No one even knew who he was. The King of Kings did not make money rain from the sky. Mary and Joseph could barely afford more than a couple birds for their sacrifice. They were poor. Jesus was born in the most backward of ways so that God alone would receive the glory. No one else could have predicted such a bizarre twist to the story. Jesus' story is not counterfeit. It's not fiction. Jesus was real. Jesus is real. And when he was born, Mary wrapped him in the best clothes she could find and placed him in a manger, the food trough for the animals. It was no place for a king, but it was certainly how God designed it. Even though Mary and Joseph might not have known it at the time, the skies were about to explode with excited angels who'd been waiting a long time for this day. We'll witness a whole choir of them tomorrow. Well, today's story is one of the arguments for the authenticity of scriptures, in that the Bible always expresses things as they are, not exactly how we want to shape them to be. So the Bible includes the flaws of some of the greatest heroes, for example, and and includes lies and includes problems that people show. I'm saying it records people telling lies. And if we wanted to preserve the heritage of some of our greatest heroes, then there'd be some embarrassing facts that we'd want to gloss over and not include in the written record. And yet the Bible includes many of those exact things that we would consider issues. Well, the same is true for the origin story of Jesus Christ. If there was this setup in the Old Testament for the king being this miraculous leader, ruler, overthrowing governments and all of that, it would just be inconceivable to write his so-called origin story in a setting like this, to a poor couple, laying him in a manger, and just all of the events surrounding the story of the birth of Jesus. It would have just been inconceivable. It would have never been done if it was up to human authors, which just that aspect helps solidify in my mind the validity of scriptures and the validity of this story. And so I found that interesting. I hope you do as well. Tomorrow's story is talking about the angels and the angels appearing to the most unlikely of candidates, the shepherds. And we'll see you in the next video.